Am I live? Okay. Cool. Sick. Awesome. So happy to be here. What was that? I just had like a line across the screen. Okay. So I have just spent time, so much time trying to make these videos, right? And they keep having me go over. So it's like by the time I can finally, there's a person here. Hi, 3435. It's so weird. There you go. Now you're gone. I'm used to doing all of these things alone. I don't typically do the YouTube videos. And then, like last time I noticed somebody's here, they bounce out. I would have much preferred to do my video diary format. This is literally only happening because you refuse to have me do it in a way that I can upload it to my Discord. So what the plan is, sorry, I'm like heated. I don't even know if I'm speaking proper English or like sentences that make sense at this point. I'm just like, there's emotion in me. There's so much emotion. So I'm going to go over in this YouTube video what I've been trying to say for, I don't even know. I think probably about an hour I've been trying to do this, right? Or something like that. It's 10:45, by the way. And I'm going to keep all those videos just like out of spite, but I can't do anything with them and you're not getting information because I can't upload them. And that's bullshit. So yeah, we're going to do it on YouTube. And then I'm just going to put the link in my Discord. And then if some poor soul wants to see what I'm trying to fucking say, they'll have this option available. Give me a second. I didn't even think very much after I realized again that I was getting cucked. I was like, okay. And like it was almost like the most neutral anger. I was just like, I know what I need to do. And then I just hopped onto YouTube. So give me a second as I try to like figure out how to say this all over again for like the fucking fourth time. Oh, I have cramps. You're making me have cramps now too. That's fun. 10:46. Reminder, there's a certain man's birthday on 6/14. So I went to the store. I just looked up at the time and saw 3:20 and like got a like jump of anxiety. I have to stop my videos at 3:30 and I'm telling you I was stopping them either at 3:30 or 3:29. I was being good about the time and still no. But we'll get into maybe why they don't want me to do these videos or to upload these ones in particular in a second. Because obviously there's like a series of events we're gonna have to go through, and I sincerely apologize if I sound exasperated, but you have to understand I've tried to do this bit, and not really a bit, but I've tried to recapture my movement. This will now be the fourth time. So there's a lot of feelings in me. That's all I'm saying. Let me calm down. I'm trying. This is just so fucking ridiculous. Let me maybe start from the very top. As I'm leaving the house, I notice there's a car parked right outside of my garage. Other side of the street. It's pitch black. There's no other vehicles. And like, there's just something about this car. And as I'm pulling out and leaving, I start to get like anxiety. And some of the thoughts that cross my head is like, what if they break into your house? And I think that was spurred from, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but today there had been something that was circulating on YouTube about like a targeted home invasion or robbery. I want to say in Orange County. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So this is something I had seen. Um, like hours leading up to me leaving, almost as if it was like it was meant to plant a seed in my head. You know what I mean? But I'm backing out and I'm starting to drive away. And some of the thoughts that like enter my head are like, what if they break in? And then it's like, what if they kill your cats? And then it turns into like a Mrs. North situation from Harry Potter, and they're just like dead on the floor. Um, you just had my foot look a little bit like bloodied, I suppose, right by my cat bowls. There's also that time that you put, all of that blood, I don't even know from what, right around the time Flacco died. If I think that happened within the same like 24 hours or something, right? Somebody with a better memory, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd also noticed today, and I always go in and out of the store, by the way, so I certainly don't remember seeing this. This is like a new development. You see that little dot right there? I'll zoom in. It's a dead bee. It's a dead fucking bee. So I saw that today. The dead bee is interesting too, because I thought to myself some days ago, and like days, it was like, I think I'm getting essence of dead bee. Like, because sometimes they'll leave me dead bees all over the place, and I never like it. I never like when they do that. But lo and behold, you did. So I guess somebody picked up on it and was like either letting me know or who knows. So I'm driving to the store with all of this anxiety. The game plan is I need to go to CVS and I need to get more yeast infection medication because it's not going away. I'm going to wait till after I'm done with my period because I don't want my body to flush out what I'm trying to put in there to hopefully this time get rid of the situation. But the pain's picking back up again. And I'm just like, I don't like that. And I don't want it to get worse, right? Because it was already so fucking bad. Don't get me wrong, it's exponentially better at the moment, but I have never felt a pain like that in my life, and I would not wish that, even on my worst enemy. And then to have it like the pain be associated with like your genitals is like so just not cool. It's really inappropriate. So I know why they're doing it. It's all the symbology and truly grabbing them by the pussy, right? But it's like, damn, dude, like if this ever gets like put into a court case where they're trying to prove like Donald Trump's association with terrorist organizations and human trafficking, you're fucked. Like, you're absolutely fucked. We'll get there when we get there, I suppose. But anyway, I get to the CVS. I notice, let's see. You can see my dash right there. I'll zoom in. There's a 4Runner. With a very interesting license plate. I don't know if you can see, there's an NY and there's a 7 and a 5 on it. I was like, yeah, we're starting off strong. We're starting off strong. So I take a picture, obviously. I take a picture of this vehicle as well. It says 9 Buck BUK 678. You can see like my Honda sticker right there. Then you can see my 8-ball reflected. That's from a lottery ticket that I had found in the Pavilion's parking lot. That was like some time ago. I just never took it out. I just leave it in my dash. I will say that the Buck is interesting now that I think about it, because when I was trying to do my series of videos, like my video diaries, I'll just call them, I was like looking up at the time at a lot of 55s. A lot of 55s were noted in that form of documentation that you will never see, I guess. Thank God for YouTube, right? Watch this not work either somehow. But I get inside and I see, this is like one of the first displays you can run into. You see that little hat right there? NYC. I had noted that hat some days ago. It might have been the first time I had to go in there for the yeast infection stuff, 1134 to 35. But I never took a picture of it because I never like thought too much of it. But I caught it this time because I was like, I might as well have it in. Oh my God! Speaking of the 55s, there you go. Didn't even notice that until right now. But yeah, it seems symbolic, like much of what they do. I see a guy in CVS and he has like an H patch or like an H on his jacket or sweater, whatever he's wearing. And that reminds me of, and this is an afterthought, this didn't necessarily occur to me while I was there. Actually, to tell you the truth, I was like, oh, positive reinforcement, sick, because, you know, my name starts with an H. No, I figured out when I thought about it. It's like I have my Letterman jacket that I bought from the costume store that has the H on the front, bulldogs on the back, but has the same yellow and green coloration as the costume of that artist who was on Stephen Colbert. Let me see if I can just bring it up real quick. Where is my YouTube? I want to once again remind you, if this is all like disjointed, it's not that I'm really good at speaking anyway. I've done this so many times. I've tried to say the same thing so many times. All right, so I'm on Stephen Colbert. Let me go to videos. Yeah, so see how that's green and yellow, the 45? Oh, it says 3:47 on its time too. Oh, you can't really see that. Oh, yeah, you can. I recognized later that it was just meant to be a troll. It was just meant to be a troll. Oh, well. I took the positive reinforcement. I took with it and ran. So whatever. Speaking of positive reinforcement, though, I also found my eyeliner. They had it. So I got 2 of my Black Wet and Wild liquid liners, which is a big deal for me personally. Is that everything that happened at CVS? No, it's not. No, it's not. Why would it be? Let me grab another picture for you. I happened to capture this image. So you know how we brought up like the cap? I'll zoom in a second. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. And then I randomly looked up the time. What was it, like 8:57 or something? And I was like, I wonder what Pokemon it is. And it was like hat Reem, so caps and hats and stuff. And then I also had Alfonso Capone come through my head recently for some reason. Here's Captain America, and here's fucking Anna. My name being Hana, with an H at the beginning and the end. So that was a fun little treat. But if you go over here, and this was not intentional on my behalf, this I believe says listening, but I cut it off so you can only see ting. So one could imagine, I guess, sting with an S could be what it says. But also my last name is Tyner, so you kind of get that in there. See that? That's Kobe. And you'll see some numbers that relate to him once we get to my receipt. But yeah, I make my way over to the Ralph's now. I move my car closer. Typically, actually, I would walk back and forth, like even though it's like the whole stretch of the parking lot. Like I like walking. I don't get out much, and I'm always sitting on my ass. So I don't mind the exercise. 11. But today it was just different. I was like, no, no, I'm gonna park closer to the store. So I do. And I get inside, and the first song that starts to play is Taylor Swift's Lovers. Thank you. And I'm just like, oh, right, they're already trolling me. Cool shit, bro. I'll note too, now that I think about it, when I was shopping, I had come across somebody with green hair. And I had just recently looked up somebody who, I don't know, they moved to New York for a while. I don't know if they're still there or what their situation is, but I used to know this makeup artist named Dre. And she had green hair for a really long time. She still might, I don't know. But I looked up her videos not too long ago, like days ago is what I mean. Days or like within the vicinity of like 100 hours, I believe this has happened. Because I just had it within me to be like, oh, I don't want to do my hair, but wouldn't it be so cool if I had dark green hair, like super dark green, like borderline, like black. I'm not going to do it, but me and my crazy ideas in the middle of the morning. It's probably like really late. But yeah, there was a person with green hair that I run into. There was, what else was there? I remember distinctly seeing a pregnant woman. I remember seeing a baby in a stroller. And I'm mentioning those just because of what's happened at Bondi. So I believe that's important. And the baby was coming out of, and I don't know if anybody cares, but the freezer section, I believe, when I happened across them. And me and an Asian woman both kind of had to stop at opposite ends to allow this baby to come through. What else? I happen to be in like not rotation with a guy, but I stay like very close. Like we get paired throughout like a little section of the store, specifically by the bread section, and then like the fresh bread and pastry section. We're like dancing around each other a lot. And I happened to capture a look at what's on the back of his shirt, and it says like face to face or something. And I was like, Okay. Interesting. And I'm just trying to think of like everything that happened. I'm touching on things I didn't touch on the other ones, which is sure. Let's just give them everything we got at this point. Fuck it, right? Make me do this for the fucking fourth time. I'm remembering now back at CVS, by the way, there was like a gaming keyboard and like mouse that I came across. And I had looked up gaming laptops some days ago. So I thought that was interesting. It was right by some exercise equipment. And like specifically, I remember seeing like workout massage gear, which is something I didn't necessarily know existed. But I guess if your muscles are really sore, you probably want to like get into like the deep tissue, rub it out, you know? Um, but yeah, I do want to note that I did run into like a keyboard, and that kind of links to some earlier things. Back to Ralph's though. I get checked out by Robert, and I just want you to keep in mind I'm on my period. So that was cool. I'm leaving, and I noticed that there's a family by the Coinstar, and it's a mother and her younger daughter and son. Her children are facing towards like the Coinstar. The mother is like facing towards me. And I noticed that the daughter's back has a huge like X on it. And I'm like looking at it because it's peculiar, you know. I liken X to the concept of human trafficking or Teslaing. And then you wouldn't know this, or maybe you would. I bought Starbucks. I had it Ubered to me. I kept getting emails. Oh, you haven't been ordering Uber. It's like, fine. I was up really, really like early, late, however you want to phrase it this morning. So I was like, I'm going to fucking Uber Starbucks. And so I did. But yeah, by the Coinstar was this huge fucking X looking at me. So I'm staring at it, and the mother like is like, trust me, I'm not a predator. I'm not like that. I was not interested in your daughter in any way. I just couldn't help but notice the huge X on her shirt. Okay. It's funny. I actually bought my water bottle into the store today. I never bring this with me anywhere. I just keep it home. But the last time I went to the store, I noticed that I was parched or thirsty. So I was like, you know what, maybe I just bring my water with me. And I hadn't had any of my water today. So I was like, might as well just take it as I go. I ended up waking up, and then I would start with my water, but I had half of my green tea latte left over from earlier. So I just put ice in that and decided to finish it up. So I filled this up before I left. But I get to the parking lot, and I notice a few things. The car that I had parked next to initially was still there. It's 1107, by the way. We'll get to that license plate in a second, because yes, there is a 107 license plate. But this car was parked next to me, or I guess I parked next to it. That's me. Was still there. The woman that was in it is now gone. I'm assuming in the store at this point, shopping. But she has all these stickers. That's her license plate. Double R, by the way. And the stickers read, "I'm proud of my Eagle Scout and I'm proud of my Boy Scout." So yeah, that car is still there. That's my car. We'll get to this car in a second, but I'm putting away my cart and I noticed this vehicle. Now you see that guy right there? Right as I'm like turning around, I got back to my car because I want to take a picture of this. I realize the owner of the vehicle is now at the car, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to capture this license plate. The trunk's probably been like popped open." And luckily, he went to his passenger side to put away whatever he purchased. So I snap a quick picture, but I take it so quickly. So dumb. You see that? If you're like, no, I can't. I can't either. Like, that's how bad this quality is. It's so fucking blurry. But right there is the 107. I know it doesn't even look like it. I swear to God, that's what it says. 1109, by the way. But back to that other car that I pointed out. I'm ready to get in my car. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to go home. I'm standing in that little section to get to my front door. Like I'm in that aisle. And this guy like squeezes by me, says, "Excuse me," in such a way, like it's just weird and like awkward. And I'm like, "Oh." And then he opens up his passenger door and starts putting things away. I was like, now I can't get in my car. This is weird. So I go to the other side of my car. Now I'm opening up my passenger side door. We're all opening up our passenger side doors. And I'm like, I'll just put away all of the things that I purchased. So the 2 Wet n Wild eyeliners and my yeast infection medication. And I'll put it in one of the bags that I have with my groceries. Because these are smaller items and you know what, I don't want them to get lost in the car or something. So I take my time and I do that. By the time I finish, because that wouldn't take me very long, the guy's still there. And it's not like I'm in a rush for time. But I'm like, okay, you know, I'm being blocked from entering my vehicle. I'm just going to have to wait. But I notice, I look up and see this guy's wearing a backwards cap and he has fucking Mickey Mouse on his hat. And it's like, you guys just put Minnie Mouse fucking yelling at me in my head yesterday. So that was fun. And the other voice, and this gets into our next story, was Gilbert Godfrey, or it reminded me of that. And so I pointed out how we were getting some like 43s, and there was a 22-year-old fire department recruit who got run over on a freeway yesterday. I had a friend who I worked with at Chop Stop in West Hollywood named Gil. And we trained at Rancho Cucamonga together, actually. I want to say that's actually how I first met him. Yeah, I think that's where I first met him, as we were training together. And I didn't know this, but he also got run over and killed on a freeway. Sorry, but like I have to set up what happens next, okay? So I'm finally able to get into my car. By the way, oh, it's 11:12. Now it's 11:13. I will note that the other car's gone. The guy like drove off. Mr. Mickey Mouse hat. You see this red car? I think that's a Charger. I'm not a car person. If anyone can kind of tell, but that car is now visible to my eye. So I snapped a picture when I in my vehicle. I have my car in reverse, and I'm about to back up. I don't lift my foot at all. I look behind me, and there's an old man right there, like kissing the back of my vehicle. And sometimes, like, when you back up, you're supposed to look first and then lift your foot slowly, right? But sometimes we go into autopilot and like we allow ourselves to roll and do the motion. If I were to have done that, I would have hit this man, like without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt, I would have hit this guy, this old man. Would he have died? I don't know. Uh, I don't imagine backing out is like something most people do quickly. But he certainly would have been hit by a car. That's no light matter. Going back to like the Coinstar lady with the fucking X on her back, how I had just ordered Starbucks, and then how you killed a man on the freeway yesterday that had, he was associated through timestamps, but also his age with Redondo Beach. Noting as well, now that I think about it, on August 25th, which is a Russian's birthday, and we noted the 107 on the license plate, though it's not very visible, but it was there and it happened. You murdered a man in Redondo Beach. This is a thing that happened. Now, this guy was shooting at people and was a clear and present threat, but still, I'd also like to note that that man ended up, I believe, being African American, because I want to make sure that we don't forget these people are racist. Forgot to show you my receipt. 718. Remember that Kobe that I saw on CBS? I'll show you the total in a second. Let me finish this heavy stuff. So I could have hit a guy. Okay. I don't. I'm starting to drive home. My radio's on the country music station. 11:16. And I get in around the time like Halfway to Hell's finishing up. And I don't believe I actually have heard that song by Jelly Roll yet. So I didn't even know who sang it. I actually ended up looking up Chris Stapleton. I didn't hear him sing anything though. But I looked up on my phone Chris Stapleton and I was like, none of the songs seem like they were this one. I couldn't remember the lyrics once I got home. But now Lainey Wilson starts to play. Wildflowers and Wild Horses. Lainey is the name of somebody I used to work with at Riverside. Not the production studio. For some of you who are like, Riverside? No. Riverside, the city in California. I had not a stunt, but I had like a little gig sculpting with, what's his name? Something Fox from Face Off. And we were doing something for a movie that was going to be shot in Romania. Romania, by the way. I'm sure women are thrilled. Women everywhere are thrilled how we're all connecting these dots. But I worked with this girl named Lainey, also from Face Off. And she was like one of the main, if not like the main sculptors, but they brought in my boyfriend at the time to also sculpt and work on things. And I ended up getting a small bit of work I did like a frog or a toad, which, you know, frogs and toads, they croak, they die. Lainey died a year or so ago. I can't even remember when. And this was like a shock to me. Like, it sucked. She had an overdose. And when I was at the store, was it CVS or was it Ralph's? One of the stores, you know how they have like those side panels, like the plastic where it'll have like random things? I saw one with like little pills, and it's one of those ones you pop in water just to like watch them grow into something. I remember seeing that and like not liking it because I brought this up actually recently, my own little fun pill popping adventure back at 304. That happened, by the way, like 2 days or something before I was intending to move back. So I made myself really, 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 really sick. And then I was still able to move. I don't even understand how that's possible, but I did it. I turned on my superhero mode or something. Absolutely wild. But anyway, so Lainey Wilson's playing, and I realized that one of the first things she mentions is like cornfields. And in my mind, I'm like, I just saw a huge bag of corn in that section where they have like the discounted items, where the last time I was here, there was a 701. Going back to the license plate that was just parked behind me with the 107. And all of these things are starting to come together, right? I was like, that's interesting. That's interesting. So I go country and I take screenshots, which you're seeing now, of the lineup because I wanted to know what this song was. And I was hoping they'd have a list because, again, I thought it was Chris Stapleton. I couldn't find it under him. So I was like, I'll just go straight to the source. And then I'm like, I wonder what was playing earlier. So you can see that is. And I want you to keep in mind a couple of things. We have a sim right here. We have Beyonce, which I actually happened to hear when I was in the car. I was bouncing around radio stations because the country station was on, I think, commercial breaks when I first, it's 11:12, by the way, hopped in. But I happened to catch this when I was in my car. Not so much these ones, but we need to focus on these two real quick. Cab and a Solo last night, 10,000 hours. Oh. Where it ends, she had me at Heads, Carolina. Okay. Keeping in mind the X, the idea of Teslaing, the idea I just hit a person. You brought up Lainey, the Gilbert Godfrey thing. I had my friend named Gil that you murdered on a freeway. You just murdered a firefighter recruit yesterday. You linked it to 304. I'm remembering in this moment, there's another Russian date that links to another murder. I'm just going to call these murders. Let's call them what they are. Like, you're killing people. You're Teslaing, you're Xing them. You're human trafficking people to get killed. They're hurting my vagina right now, by the way. I'm driving home. And at this point, I had forgotten there was a car parked outside of my house, specifically my driveway. It's pitch black. I'm realizing it's not there in a sense of relief. Oh, it's gone. Like, thank God it's gone. My focus is right here. This is where my driveway is. It's dark. Nothing is anywhere. There are no lights, but there is nothing anywhere from what I can tell until I'm pulling into, again, my focus is still kind of partially to the idea like there is nothing on the other side of the road. I'm about to pull into my driveway. There is another old man, another one, Here's my driveway. Here. He's like right here. Like, I would have hit this guy too. So I think this is a contingency plan. Also, I guess the idea that the firefighter's age was 22. You almost had me hit an old man twice. Both times failed. But when you look at the country music station, and it goes far back, it heads Carolina, where it ends, Texas Hold'em, Cab and a Solo, last night. I think what you wanted to have happen is I hit somebody, I injure them, and then perhaps I get booked or something. It didn't happen. But you tried so hard. So this is your reminder, ladies and gentlemen, to try to get yourself out of autopilot and drive your lives, not just in your cars, but your everyday decorum manually. Like, be here, right? Be present. Like, for example, before I left, I decided I wanted to wear jewelry. I was going to wear a necklace, and then I was like, I don't think I have the right necklace. Let me wear this bracelet. Now, I got this for my birthday from a woman named Barbara, my aunt. I guess the idea of like alien ant farm is now coming to mind, and the idea like there's a hive mind among ants in a way. You'd like to control us like ants, I'm sure. But I decided to put this on. I think to myself at some point, I wonder if this means anything. I don't think about it too hard. But now, since all of this has happened, and again, there's this idea that you wanted me to go to jail today. What does this look like? It looks like a fucking handcuff. So I have been trying to say this. It's 11:25. I couldn't even tell you when I started. You'll see on the videos, like when I pressed play on the like very first one. One must speculate. One has to wonder why you didn't want me to speak this, to share this with anybody. You know? Like, why did I bring my water bottle? I never bring my water bottle. And it had an X. The girl's shirt had an X. 2 people. And I'm not, like, there's a difference between being like, oh, that was close call. And it's like, it was, but it wasn't. No. Both of these men were like inches. The guy next to the garage door was a little bit further away, maybe about like a foot or so. But it was pitch black. And my focus was on the other side of the road, not what appeared to be, when I initially looked down, nothing. There's nothing visible to my eye. It's the open road. It's the open park. And then it's my house. So there's other factors in play there. I take human trafficking very seriously. I know a lot of you kind of shut up about it. It ruins people's lives. Henry Ruggs is a great example. And he's a Black man as well, by the way. Seeing as we pointed out Kobe Bryant and then the man you shot in Redondo on 8/25. Henry Ruggs, I bring him up all the time. Oh my God, I'm realizing I saw a Nevada plate too. I saw a Nevada license plate. Yep. And you did play Taylor Swift. Somebody's telling me that you did play Taylor Swift. But he was drunk driving, going Lord knows how fast, and he hits a woman in her car with her dog. The car not explodes, but it combusts. and she and her dog get burned. I don't know if they were alive after they got hit, but like, what a horrific way to go, right? So, you know, when I say that we need to start calling spades spades and we need to start being like, this is a part of a global terrorist crackdown on the rest of us, like, I mean it, because otherwise everybody is at risk of getting trafficked into a situation they don't want. And I don't care how good you think you have it. If for some reason they find you symbolically important, you're fucked. They don't care if you like them or don't. If you have a name or a date or you're wearing the right clothes today, which by the way, they probably made you wear, or you have the right look or whatever, whatever, whatever. If they choose you that day, you're screwed because anything they want to have happen to you will. And either who's to say what that means? Either you're going to go through something horrible or you're going to be a part of in my case, like the guy wearing the H today, you're going to be part of the harassment squad and maybe not be aware of it, that you are providing, you're serving as like a prop in somebody else's skit of somebody's life. And it's meant to harass them and to cause mental anguish, anxiety, make them feel uncomfortable, aid these feelings that if they excel to such a degree might actually make people suicidal, right? Or you get killed like in Bondi, pardon me. It's just like, we really need to start talking about this for what it is. Stop covering for terrorism. Stop covering for human trafficking. Let's educate each other. Let's educate our kids on this shit so they know better. Let's educate the people who clearly didn't get these classes in school. Because it's not helping anybody by just staying quiet. My receipt, by the way, very washed out. But my total was $51.77, because even that too, even the receipt had to have Donald Trump's fucking numbers associated with him, because these are the people who think if they say something enough times it becomes true, and sometimes that works. And we associate that, by the way, with gaslighting, which is something that people do when they're narcissists or have some type of mental health issues and feel the need to control a situation or a person. So they just keep lying about something. In this case, I don't only think he's lying by already seemingly claiming and branding himself the victor. I think he's threatening people. I think he's saying, you make me the 47th president, and like, look at all the ors already. And this is somebody who said there was going to be a bloodbath. I'm assuming, like, for example, the guy that just got killed on the freeway, it wasn't a pretty scene. I'm assuming Bondi wasn't a pretty scene. I'm assuming what happened at that church as well, and at Wakely, because you don't like the wokes, wasn't a pretty scene. Me on my period, thank you. Bleeding from my cat, not a pretty scene. And it's like, he's already meeting the quota. He's already doing the thing. This man is a terrorist. And I want people to understand that. I think you need to understand that, guys. You guys, it's so easy for Americans to hate foreign actors like Osama bin Laden. But when it comes to even like a foreign actor like Putin, who's a horrific figure, has killed so many Ukrainians, you're like, oh, well, he's white, right? Donald Trump, it's like the same thing. Like, you cannot wrap your minds around how evil this person is. Do you guys remember COVID and his intentionally botched response, and how, like, before it even happened, he took away I forgot exactly what the phrasing of it is, but like our pandemic response. It's like, what was that? How many Americans died essentially on purpose because of this man's action, getting rid of the pandemic response, and then lack of action and intentional misinformation? There was a bloodbath before the 47th, election year. There was a bloodbath during his presidency. He was already killing Americans. But yeah, those two old men will live to see another day. I want to shout out anybody who is in my head, in my head space, and helped me to navigate those. Sometimes you can tell when your period blood's coming out. It just felt like that, right? Yep, and it's still going. I want to thank you sincerely for having me not hit those people. And it's not just like me. I know, like, this is what you wanted, but it's like those people have families. Those people have friends. Those people have coworkers. Those people have lives to live. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just about me. Like, so yeah, I thank you. Thank you. They really want to treat this like it's a sim. Again, where it ends. Noting, by the way, that last song you saw on the bottom there was Carolina, so car, O line. B lines, by the way, I saw that dead B. Quick story. When I'm looking at my Bible right now, actually, King James Version. You'll see why that matters in a second. When I took my driving, not tests, but like training courses, my grandma signed me up for, and she dated or married a man named Charles, by the way. A long, long, long time ago. Never met him. But she signed me up for King's driving school. And when I was at Ralph's, and I put this together later, when I was doing my video diaries, that I remembered I saw a Kings, like Los Angeles Kings hockey shirt when I was there today. It's still today. It's still today. It's 11:37. It's still today. There you go. Thought that was interesting. Hi, Osiris. Oh, I should note too, and this was when I was in bed. I had like this vision of Osiris like at my face, specifically like right at my right eye. And I didn't know where it came from. Obviously, I thought it was odd. But now that she's walking by, I guess I'll mention it just due to her name. And the idea, I guess, that we're bringing up King, and then you've given the King cancer is worthy of notes. But yeah, back to the idea of Carolina. King's driving school. I guess we have better drivers than yours on occasion. um, I'm noticing today is April 16th, so 4/16. You add a 10 to that. It's my grandma's birthday. But if you rearrange it, you can get, oh, I don't know, Donald Trump's birthday. And we had those, or that 107 today, license plate. I don't know. It's all really fishy. This is one of those things where I'm like, if this gets submitted into evidence, like Donald Trump's fucked. Like he's just fucked. Because you cannot deny that these people are working on behalf of you and trying to like cause some really nasty shit, harmful shit. You know, so my face is itchy. We'll see what happens. I'd like him to get charged with everything he's already racked up, but like this man cannot stop criming. This man will not stop criming until, I mean, I had seen something yesterday. I don't know if I posted it or not, but the idea was like, even if he's like in the courthouse or even if he is in jail, like he still has like a shadow network that he's working with that will do things on his behalf, you know. I think they're really just trying to express how deeply and earnestly they really believe Donald Trump should be the president of the United States, and they're saying that in so many ways. So many ways that us as Americans and us as a human populace, I'm not even just talking about democracies, like people in general should despise. Being trafficked is not something any person of self-governance or aspires to have self-governance at this point, 5709, that we should tolerate. And we all need to be very aware of the technologies in play and the plots in place. And we need to be understanding of how things actually happen and stop calling them accidents. And if you want to still use the term, for example, accident, it's like, okay, well, can you define that more accurately, please? And then when you take people to trial, can we talk about how sometimes, you know, people get trafficked to do terrible things and we should be understanding. Now, is there a sense that perhaps they would still do it even if they weren't trafficked because they're just that bad of a person? Absolutely. But I feel like we really need to consider, if we're trying to be fair in like a judicial system, we need to be fair of the circumstance we all find ourselves in, this umbrella of trafficking, Xing, texting, whatever, this Lego land of a life where everybody's on a fucking track. And until we get that right, and until we're able to address that and have these conversations, we are an innately flawed society. We cannot allow this veil to sustain itself. Like, that's why it gets really bad. That's why it is really bad. I look forward to the day when we are a more educated people and we are way more committed to defense, not only through technology and weaponry, but our minds. You know, there's a reason they don't teach us everything we need to know in school. And like, the biggest issue isn't the books in the library. The biggest issue is you don't want to talk about the technologies in play. You know, you don't want to talk about the actual honest to God human condition. You don't want to tell people from the bat, you know, there's like this idea sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I was an accident. It's like, no, you weren't. Through the programming, I bet you every single person was scheduled. Somebody manufactured you or generated you somehow to fill a space and to be a person, and your life will get tracked from the day of your conception, which you probably existed in a data bank before that, to the day you die. And like that sucks. But this is why I specifically, this is one of the reasons why like I will never have children. Because I wouldn't ever subject somebody to this torture. This is not a free experience. This is not a fun experience. This is an enslaved scenario. Like, I don't want to put brand new being. Well, who's to say if they're brand new? I don't know how it all works. I'm sure some people get recycled, you know, the people that they really like, which hope it's not me. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to be here. I don't want to like Buddha it. It's like, oh yeah, you know, you keep going through the cycles. It's like, no, I'm good. One and done. I don't know if I've mentioned this story before. I mean, I know I have in other like ways, but I don't know if like I've done it in a video. But David and I had this conversation in this kitchen actually, and we were talking about reincarnation. And I look at him, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, this is my one life. Like, I don't want to do this again. Fuck this. And fuck all of you, by the way, who allow people like me, back to this idea of like lamb nutrition, to exist. You couldn't be bothered to tell me anything. I had to figure this out by myself by watching the world burn and people get murdered in school shootings and stabbings and me almost hitting people with my car. What the hell's wrong with you? And honestly, it goes to the idea that they're co-conspirators. They're co-conspirators of the gagging, or like the idea of like hushing everybody up, shutting everybody up. Nobody know about anything. And if you know, you don't say anything, because there needs to be people like me. My stomach just like gurgled. 11:45. Who exists that you can take advantage of. You want the sheep. You want the uneducated. Because then they don't understand that when they fuck somebody, there's people watching and it's content. You want people like me who just accept life for what it is, and you're able to create some type of fun little weird narrative with it. Almost in a sense of like a reality TV show. You know, they're getting set up in so many different ways. Just thinking that's how the world works. And it's like, there's somebody behind the scenes fucking with you. You are covering up for those abusers. You are covering up for those human traffickers. And that just like disgusts me. Like, I am disgusted by the people who know shit like that and say nothing. I hope you get what you deserve one day. I really hope you do. And I know that's wishful thinking, but it was 1:03:08, 15 to 16. 11:46, by the way. I had come up with like this scenario. We'll end it here. I don't want to go. I have been trying to get this out. I have been trying to say all of this. This is just like the after show portion. I'd come up with a scenario, and what you've done to me, I never want to exist again. I want to be very clear. But I had this idea that perhaps for some reason I would be forced to. And I was like, okay, here's how you do it. You have two versions of heaven. You have one heaven where there's good beings like me who did nothing wrong go to, because I know I can never forgive all of you. I never, ever, ever want to live in a dimension with any of you ever again. Ever. I will not forgive you for what you've done to me. So for people like me who cannot find it in their heart of hearts to be forgiving and to give people a second chance, you put us somewhere else, because we deserve to be happy and comfortable too. But then there's also another heaven. There's a heaven for people who were good beings and say, oh, I can forgive. And so I'm not going to be triggered being around these people. So you can put them there. But also people who graduate and level up to finally be a part of a society that is sustainable and fun and free and everything, you could ever dream of. No limits, no nothing. As long as you follow the basic rules, right? And you have that heaven. There's heaven A and there's heaven B. Sometimes we talk about planet A and planet B, and it goes into like people in reality and then people cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You are somewhere else on a different fucking level. My heaven idea is just a little bit different. And hopefully, it's perceived as like they're both positive, but it's like, if I had to exist again, none of you can be there. None of you. You're never getting in. I would never let you in. The hard lock would be so hard. And hopefully at that point in time, if you were to finally graduate to a place where you could also be a part of the second heaven, you wouldn't find it within yourself to want to still harass people or to like seek after them and have some idea of vengeance. But you just never know who gets filtered through a process. Like, and all of you are actors. You all really are. I hate actors. I hate people who play pretend with their feelings and emotions and you just like fulfill a role for the sake of furthering a narrative, pardon me. Hopefully this ideal scenario, they'd really be able to like look into your brain and really make sure like you're not trying to like hide something. But yeah, I don't trust you. I would never trust you again. You just made my cap fucking slide off. I mean, it slid off. I kind of like did that so it didn't fall off. But yeah. That little bit at the end felt like a therapy session. Good talk. Good talk, me. Thanks, me. Okay. It's 11:50. I need to finish my water so I can start drinking. I have like a light set of cramps and I'm like frustrated with it. So I'd like to be able to like just chill out. I also need to like work up my way to like getting hungry so I can, eat at some point. So 107:42, 11:51. I think we're going to wrap it there. I don't think I forgot anything. I hope if you've sat around and listened to this, good on you. Good on you for watching my fucking captain's log. And as a reminder, those old men are okay. They're they are okay. Now, if they want something to happen to them specifically, I'm sure they'll keep at it and they'll formulate another plot or scheme. But where are you running, Osiris? Okay, all right. But if I had to take a guess to give those like men a peace of mind and their families and friends, I think it was more so because they wanted me to have a really bad time. A bad time of it just because they're mad Donald Trump is now in trial and, there's a chance he's going to jail and I think they wanted me to join him. Oh, you're right. I totally forgot about that. You're hurting my neck right now. You know what I thought of today too? Speaking of, my sculpting days with Lainey, I was thinking about how Hang Time always gives away like those figures, which I don't know if you understand how like Batman figures and anime figures work, but most of the time, like somebody has to sculpt those and then a mold gets created and then that's how those get fabricated. Now, given the technology in 3D printing, I don't know if that's still always the case, but I know a lot of figures and sculptures have to be sculpted first or had to. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, so yeah, hang time. My neck just cracked. Sculptures passed my mind earlier, but yeah, Hannah Gutierrez, who, let me say something. I want to say I saw a YouTube video, and this just goes to show I want people to understand like how incredibly overwhelming the the psychological campaign against me is. It's 11:45 again, or 54, pardon me. And how they're really trying to beat me down. And I'm not trying to make this completely about me, but this to me is like evidence. And yeah, so see this video with the 43? Here, let me just pull up her name. Yeah. So that's her name. If you don't know, she's the one who provided the bullet that ended up killing the cinematographer on the set of Rust in New Mexico. I want to say my ex-boyfriend Brandon Simmons moved to New Mexico, by the way, seeing that you put Zimmerman on the country music lineup. Simmons, close enough. But yeah, it says right here from the judge, you did this. 11, 111, 53, 55, 56, 57. Yeah. And I can tell you as of right now and today, you can, for example, argue the reason we're lashing out like this is because of what you're doing. But it's interesting to me that you've specifically decided to target me, and you've targeted other people. Like, for example, I've picked up on stuff directly related to Alvin Bragg, right? We had the parking garage collapse and you killed a black man. When it comes to Jack Smith, you killed a congresswoman named, I think her name was Jackie, on the freeway, another car accident issue. But also there was a thing that I picked up where a car ran into, I believe, a subway. And I was like, what the fuck? 1156, my tip number. But I don't know why I'm necessarily involved. And I don't know why it is so horrific, the things that you've decided to loop me into. And maybe it's because, once they start cracking open the cases on like raping people in their dreams and stuff, like maybe they'll call me up and maybe you're involved. I don't know. I'm still in the dark on a lot of my situation, and everybody that knows something has refused to say anything. But yeah, like I take this opportunity to speak on my situation. There's a lot of weight to that, to document my experience and how just tragic it is for me and, for all the people involved. But I don't recall doing anything to garner me being looped in like a Jack Smith, like an Alvin Bragg, unless you think I'm going to be your final judge. Then, maybe that's why you're scared of me. But I really am unsure my involvement in all of this. But 114, 25, 26. Should I just do it for 2 more minutes so I can say good morning? I'll let you decide the spelling, because there's Morning and then there's Mourning. 46, 47. What to talk about now? What to talk about now? Somebody said, what about them Dodgers? And then Dodgers quickly got like sidetracked to Lakers. How about them Dodgers? How about them Lakers? Is it even like seasonal? Like, what season is it? I don't pay attention to sports. I watch Super Bowl and I only watch Super Bowl. That is the one game, that is the one sport. 15, 20, I want to say I saw 24, 26, all the numbers. This was like me. Okay, story time. 11:59. I was here, let's keep it up until it changes. I was doing that wiki post under Kiev or Kiev. I don't know exactly how you say it. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. And I was trying to like look at certain numbers that were popping up to get information on the citations. And I kept noticing that there were so many. And I, honest to God, thought to myself, if I look at every single one, like 1 through, I don't know how many, like 160, 70, 80 of those citations or references, I think they're called. Good morning. Every single one of those, I probably could like pluck, as Donald likes to say, something out, right? And it's like, to think that we live in that deeply coded or seeded of an environment. Do you want me to have a stroke now? I like the idea that Donald Trump's make-a-wish wish would be like me also dying. Buddy, me too. My make-a-wish wish is me dying. I fucking hate it here. I fucking hate this shit. I fucking hate. When I say hate, by the way, it's not like a Donald Trump hate where it's like I want to hurt you. Like I'm emotionally involved in hating you. No, I hate what you are. I hate you. All of you are just so warped by this reality. And you just sustain it. And I don't like that. You've given up. You've given up on any idea of a better circumstance. You're not fighting for that anymore. You're just trying to like, get a one up on the next guy. You're just trying to fuck somebody else over so you can look down at them and be like, huh, my life's better than yours. And that to me is a failed human experiment. That to me is just like it's honestly like genuinely like disgusting. That to me is not like a fully developed, mature, intelligent state of mind. Like you are all very sick here. And when people get sick, whether it be mentally or physically, typically they can be like, oh, I'm ill. And then they try to get help or they try to work their way through it, like rehabilitation. Let's say you break an arm. Once you get your cast off, maybe you have to do some exercises and things to get it back to where it was. You have no urgency to get yourself to anywhere remotely close to this idea of nirvana, or we were talking about a heaven state. You are all just very satisfied with how shit it is here. So yeah, my make-a-wish wish is me dying. Fuck this place. Fuck all of you. Fuck this thankless fucking job I have. This sucks. I want to talk to my programmers. I really want to give them a piece of my mind. I want to tell them off. I don't even know how to. I am such like an even-keeled person. Like I don't even know how to get mad correctly. Like I don't know how to yell at somebody. I don't know how to have like a perfectly scripted moment where I can like look at somebody and intimidate them. Because like that's not the point. I just want to let them know how disappointed I am that this, to them in their minds, was a necessary component of this moment that needed to happen. And they chose somebody who knew nothing of anything to do it. You couldn't have chose like one of you people who was like, I don't know, better prepared, maybe not as like physically ill all the time, more mentally like, not mentally handicapped, we'll say, because you've really fucked with my head a lot. You couldn't choose one of your own people to do it. You had to choose the fucking pleb. You had to choose the new guy. Like, that's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. Again, back to this idea, like, and I'll never forgive you. I will never forgive anybody who made the conscious decision to do this to me in my life. You know how Jesus was probably like, hell yeah, I'm the Son of Man. Like, I'll take one for the team. I'll take one for the team. Sure. But there's a severe consequence to that. I am a forever damaged person because of this experience. And it's your fault. You decided that was something that you were willing to do. And I don't understand how you possibly claim you're the better side of things when you can't even send your own personnel in to do such a hard task. You know what I mean? Yes, this is just crazy. It's crazy that you allowed this plan to fly, to be honest. I don't know who had to sign off on this one, but yeah, that's fine. You're wild for that. You're wild for that, Chief. Okay. My cramps are getting worse. I really need to finish my water so I can start drinking. Again, like I don't take pills anymore for obvious reasons. So alcohol actually helps with cramps when you decide that I should have them. So it is 12:05. And this is me signing off. Bye, gamers.